All right, this is the exam review for um, Accounting 3303, Exam 1 review for Accounting 3303. So let's take a look here. We've got AAA company produced a product with a selling price of 20 and a variable cost, which amounted to 60% of sales. So 60% of 20 is 12. That means our contribution margin is 8 on that. Given a fixed cost of $60,000, the break-even sales will be, so 60,000 divided by 8 is 7,500 units will be the break-even. AAA currently has a profit of 15,000 at a sales volume of 9,375 units and a fixed cost, which amounts to 625 and a selling price of $20 per unit. Variable cost per unit should be. Well, there's a couple different ways you can go about this. We can work backwards from 15,000 profit, right, with a fixed cost. This is my operating income. The fixed cost was 65,625. That's going to give me a total contribution margin of those two added together, which would be 80,625. Okay, we know that our selling price is 9,375 times 20. So we've got 187,500. Subtract our contribution margin. Would be 106,875. We can take the 106,875, divide that by 9,375. And that'll give us $11.40 per unit on that one. Number 3, big department store has annual sales of 5 million and total contribution margin of 2,000,006. If monthly fixed costs are 130,000, what is the break-even level of sales? So what you've got here is annual and monthly, and so you have to get them in the both the same. The easiest one will be to get the fixed cost in terms of annual. So we take 130,000 times 12. And that gives us 1,560,000. That's our fixed cost. Then we need to get the contribution margin ratio, which will be the 5 million minus the 2,600,000. That'll be 2,400,000. 2,400,000 divided by 500,000, 5 million, excuse me, 5 million. Would be 48%. So if we divide that by 0.48, 1,560,000, 0.48 divide means our break-even sales is $3,250,000. Okay. And then finally, number 4, it says if the selling price for a good is $25 and the variable cost is $17, and a company has fixed cost of $20,000, how many units must they sell to have a target profit of $8,000? So this doesn't include tax because we don't have a tax rate. So 25 minus 17 gives us a contribution margin of 8. So we take the 20,000 fixed cost plus we add the 8,000 target profit, divide that by 8, and so 28,000 divided by 8 is 3,500 units. All right, so that was one of the ones I sent out to you. Another one that I sent out to you had 2 problems, I think. Daily company manufactures computer monitors. And following is a summary of basic cost and revenue. Sales price is $580, variable cost $348, giving us a unit contribution margin of $232. Assume that Daily is currently selling 700 computer monitors. Fixed costs are $96,000. Compute the operating income and break even in units. Okay, so the operating income would be so A is going to be contribution margin of 232 times 700. And that gives us a total contribution margin of 162,400. And then we subtract our fixed costs of 96,000. And that's going to give us 66,400 in operating income there. And what is, let's see, and the break even is going to be the 96,000 divided by the 232. And so break even is 414. It's 413.79. But we always, when we talk about break even, we always round up to the nearest whole unit on that. So that's A. On B, required and calculate the margin of safety. If 700 units are sold, that's simply 700 minus 414 would be 286 is the margin of safety. Calculate the margin of safety ratio if 700 units are sold. So that would be 286 divided by 700. And that's going to be 40.86%. And then D, calculate Daily's operating leverage. Calculate their operating leverage if 700 units are sold. So we've already got the contribution margin and the operating income. So we take the 162, that's the total contribution margin, and we divide that by the 66,400. That's going to give us the degree of operating leverage. And that will be 2.45, rounded to two decimal places there. Okay. The next one I sent you, or no, this is still part of that one, excuse me. So we've got Fashions Inc. is a retail store that sells sweaters and jackets. In the past, it has bought all its sweaters from a supplier. For $20 per unit. However, Fashions has the opportunity to acquire a small manufacturing facility where it could produce its own sweaters. The projected data for producing its own sweaters are as follows: sales price of 30, variable cost of 15, fixed cost of 150,000. If Fashion acquires the manufacturing facility, how many sweaters would it have to produce in order to break even? So number one here is going to be 30 selling price minus 15 is a $15 contribution margin. 150,000 fixed cost divided by 15 is going to be 10,000 sweaters that it has to produce. And then number two says, to earn an after-tax profit of 125,000, how many sweaters would Fashions have to sell if it buys the sweaters from a supplier, if it produces its own sweaters? So Fashion's tax rate is 30%. Okay, so apparently we have no fixed costs if they buy from the supplier. So the contribution margin is 30 minus 20 gives us 10. We have zero fixed costs plus 125,000 target profit divided by 1 minus the tax rate of 0.3, and all of that is divided by 10, which is going to be 125.7 divide is 178,571 rounded and divided by 10. Is going to be 17,858. We always go up. So on that one. And then Fashions is indifferent. And then if it produces its own sweaters, we're back to the 15 contribution margin, but now we've got the 150,000 plus 125. See, so we're trading fixed costs for that. Okay, so this is going to be 150 plus 178, 571 divided by 15. And that would be 21,905 in order to get, if we make them ourselves. It says Fashions is indifferent between the two alternatives at how many units. And so that is we have to write that out. So 3 is going to be um, um, let's see, 178. No, that's not right. Where are they going to be indifferent? So that'll be um, 10x equals um, 100 and be 15x minus 150,000, the fixed cost. So no fixed cost here and fixed cost there. So where are those two the same? So we bring the 150,000 over here equals 15x minus 10x. So 150,000 equals 5x. So x is going to equal 30,000 sweaters. And we can prove that 30,000 times a contribution margin of 10 equals 300,000. Minus 150,000 equals 150. Oh, I did that right. I put the 15 at, yeah, no, that was right. So that's 150,000 there. And then I would have 30,000. Oh, this is not right. So I have 300,000 contribution margin there. There we go. That's what I did. So 30,000 times 15 is 450,000 minus the 150,000 fixed cost equals 300,000. There we go. So that was right. Okay, so that is that one. And then finally, number one on the third one I sent you was the same as number one on the second one I sent you, but question two is a little bit different. And so we've got Enola manufactures a product that sells for $400. The variable costs are direct materials, 100, direct labor 80, and variable manufacturing overhead of 50. So that's a total of 230. During the year, budgeted fixed manufacturing overhead is estimated to be 500,000. Budgeted fixed selling and administrative costs are expected to be 250, and variable costs are expected to be 20 per unit. Determine the break even. Yeah, so A is going to be 400 minus all the variable costs. So direct materials, direct labor, and variable overhead is 230. But also we have the variable selling costs of 20. So that brings us to 250 in variable costs. So we have a contribution margin per unit of $150. Our break even, our fixed costs are 500 for manufacturing overhead, and fixed administrative is 250. So that's 750 in total fixed cost divided by 150 per unit. So that would be 5,000 units. Okay, then B. Determine the units that must be sold to earn 300,000 in profits before taxes. So that'll be 750 fixed costs plus 300,000 target profit divided by 150. And so that's 1,050,000. And that's going to be 7,000. The other way you can do that is just take the 300,000, since you already know the break-even point. Take the 300,000 and divide it by the 150. That's going to give you 20,000 or 2,000. Sorry, getting in a hurry here. 2,000 and just add it to your break-even, so that'd be 7,000 also. So either way works there. And then C, determine the number of units that must be sold to generate an after-tax profit of 90,000 if there is a 40% tax rate. So now we've got the 750,000 plus 90,000 divided by 1 minus the tax rate of 0.4, all divided by 150. So that's 750,000, 90.6 divide plus 150,000 divided by 150. So that's 900,000 divided by 150 equals 6,000. All right, so that's the first three I sent you.